Judge, jury, executioner!
World Stampede!
The moon haunts you! Well done, my...
You heard it up top. We are crossing the multiverse through space and time as we come together to battle it out on the new Marvel hero shooter, Marvel Rivals. Here on Normies Like Us with your hosts, Colin the Land Shark.
Mike and Dagger.
It's time to put on a show, Normies. This is Jacob Snow here. Not Jon Snow.
Juna.
Not Luna Snow, but Jacob Snow.
Jacob Snow, K-pop sensation, international.
That's right.
I'm a big fan.
King of the North.
Honored to be here today. And Jeff, obviously, we love Jeff.
But growl, growl,
that's right.
gargle, gargle.
We're talking Marvel Rivals, the new hit gaming sensation, I would say, that's come out, free-to-play game, hero shooter, and we're here to talk about it today.
Yeah, did you guys, hero shooter, that kind of evokes probably the most popular in the genre, Overwatch, which this game gets compared to a lot. Were you guys familiar with that game or any of the games in this genre?
Personally, I haven't played any hero shooters prior to this. I know you have a bit of a history we'll probably touch on, but yeah, this is my first hero shooter. I was aware of what Overwatch or League of Legends are. I just never happened to get into one, and maybe something with the IP made the barrier to entry a lot easier for me. But happy to be talking about this one. But Jacob, you play any hero shooters? Any experience with this genre?
Yeah, I played a little bit of Overwatch back in the day, not too much. You got Overwatch, you got Valorant, you got
Valorant, that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, those games are fun, but really I did not get into them like I have Marvel Rivals, so maybe it is the IP or maybe it's just the presentation of the game and the addicting gameplay that's got me hooked. But Colin, I know you have some history with Overwatch.
I do, and I want to answer that, but just real quick, because you guys just said the exact same thing about the IP being the thing. I guess I want to just throw back another question to you guys. We're talking a Marvel video game today. Marvel not really known for their video games as much as, say, a DC, where you've got just like endless, Injustice, like entire video game worlds that have been built out. Do you guys fuck around with Marvel games? Do you play like the mobile game Marvel Snap? Do you play those Spider-Man games at all?
No, I haven't played any of those. I know you guys, one that you guys and Joe like to talk about a lot, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, back in the day, the X-Men games and things like that. But normies, know this probably. I've said it many times on the podcast. I'm a DC boy. I'm not a Marvel boy as much. And would I prefer this game if it was called DC Rivals? Probably. But I think they've done a really good job with the presentation of it.
Yeah, I think... there's something about knowing the characters, I guess, for me, where it's like, I can kind of guess what a Spider-Man would play like, vaguely. I can guess what Thor would play like, where it's like, I don't know what a Junkrat is, or you know what I mean?
Sure.
Or Zendaya or whatever. So...
she's in it.
Zendaya's in it, yeah.
Yeah. So that helps.
But that's so interesting, Mike, because, from listeners on this podcast might have gathered, I wouldn't necessarily call you the biggest Marvel fan, quote unquote. Your self-professed comic books of a child are Carnage comic books, which I find very fun. A character who's not in this game.
Not yet, at least, yeah. So
Venom is, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the roster was interesting too, because we'll get into it, but like something like Cloak and Dagger that my cousin read, they're a character in this, and I was like, oh yeah, let me try them out, but I really knew nothing about them. So the roster, like, at least has enough variety to
Best thing you have,
for everybody.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, you have characters that everyone knows, like Spider-Man and Captain America, alongside Jeff the Land Shark and Luna Snow and
The
Cloak and
unstoppable
Dagger
Squirrel,
and
unbeatable
Squirrel Girl.
Yeah.
So it's introducing people to these lesser known Marvel characters, which is good for the overall Marvel brand, I think. The MCU is probably loving it because they're like, oh, let's get that Squirrel Girl movie in production.
Oh my god.
We have to make her thick. We've learned our lesson.
Right.
The only time I heard Squirrel Girl before was there's an interview with Anna Kendrick, who they're like, who would you like to play if you had a role in the MCU? And she said Squirrel Girl. So
Wow.
maybe she'll be Squirrel Girl, but I don't know.
Now, a character that, of course, was cast in an unaired ABC pilot of a collection of very small time Marvel characters, that the highlight being Squirrel Girl because she's such a fan favorite, played by Melania Von Traub, the woman from what are those
Oh yeah,
commercials?
yeah.
AT&T
Allstate.
or
Yeah. She had a couple
something.
appearances in
Right.
Silicon Valley. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good voice talent in this game for sure. And that's why I think it's been so successful and it's stayed so popular. Is one, the gameplay loop is fun, and two, the presentation. You know, the audio visual feedback that you get when you're playing, the character designs, the dynamic levels. So it has certain things going for it that Overwatch doesn't, being a separate IP. And I think, Mike, you're right. Like, not knowing the characters or anything, you kind of have to get into the lore of the game a little bit. Whereas this, it's very easy to be like, oh, I know Spider-Man. I don't want to play Spider-Man because he's hard to play, but I know these characters.
Yes,
Yeah,
he's not a ninja with a crossbow. Yeah,
right. But here's something else to bring up in this genre, I guess, before we get into the episode proper, is we've had, a lot of these games attempt to be launched and fail. We have Concord was alive for like 6 days. We had Justice League kill the Justice League Suicide Squad. Supreme failure. So the fact that this is working is kind of rare.
Yeah. There was a Steam sale over the holiday break, and I did pick up a bunch of games that were on sale, including
Suicide
Squad Kill the Justice League, which was on sale for $2.50. So I was like, you know what? Why not?
6 watches from now, which is 60 episodes, listeners, where Jacob's like, I finally started Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
No, I mean, who knows if I'll ever play it, but for $2.50, I was like, why not just buy it while I can and just own it? And I also bought the Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy game for like $5, and that's supposed to be actually a pretty good game. It's a single-player Guardians of the Galaxy game, so maybe I'll get around to playing that eventually.
Well, and then Square Enix made that panned Avengers game.
Yeah.
Nobody gave a shit about. So it's been, and
there's been a lot of live service games that have failed, and it's because I think like Concord was an example of what not to do, and that whole model, it can be successful. Fortnite, obviously, plenty of games have done it and stayed relevant. But
there's only space in the ecosystem for like a couple. And when every company's trying to launch one at the same time, it's like you're only going to have maybe 2 or 3 that are sustaining themselves,
you got to keep the players coming back.
Right.
You got to keep the players coming back. You got to have a fan base, and you got to be releasing new content. So like, if you're a free-to-play game, battle passes are the way to go, where you have unlockables that you can sort of unlock over time. Well,
yeah. But yeah, this is the first experience.
I think it's a great
Colin,
model.
I know that I think to bring this background, and then we'll jump into it. Like, you have had a history with these, and this has kind of been a revelation for you to have friends that care about this genre.
That's a great way to put it, Mike. And you brought up such a salient point about where you slipped in there, the death of Overwatch. I was an Overwatch player. I played it at the peak, I would say, of its popularity. I got into it over COVID, where I was home all the time and just playing Overwatch nonstop. And then, Mike, I would say this death has been this long lead up to Overwatch 2, which is one of those rare things where they just delete the code for the original one, replace the little free icon you have, they put a 2 next to the thing and go, hey, we switched this game up and we fucked everything up, and we really want you to still like it and play it. So I did have a hole in my heart, and I came to this not even just because of the IP I just thought the trailers were cool. I was very embarrassed to send them to you guys because I felt like you guys never got into any of my Overwatch conversations.
I would say
on this podcast where I'd bring it up and say, hey, Overwatch is cool. You guys were like, that's cool.
Never touched it. Sorry.
I feel like I never heard you talk about Overwatch. Like, you were playing it, but you never talked about it to me.
There 100% are recordings of this podcast where on Watch As I say, I'm playing Overwatch.
That's
Dude,
possible. That's
truly
possible.
nothing. But
But I was
no, I
surprised to
do
find
agree
out
with
that you're an
you.
Overwatch
That
player.
is, again, 100% fair. But I've also played just a million Marvel games. I've not played that Guardians one, Jacob, but I've heard great things about it. But yeah, I was excited about it just because it's a Marvel game that you guys seemed into.
Yeah, and this came out what, December 5th, so it's been a couple weeks, and just to kind of set up where we are, it is a smash success so far. It has currently like 435,000 concurrent players as of
Wow.
6 minutes ago, whereas Overwatch
Ooh.
2 has 17,000, and I'm rounding
Ooh.
up. So
I think,
yeah, it's a phenomenon.
yeah, and I think the free to play model actually for me really works because, people bitch and moan about microtransactions and things like that, but you don't. All that is optional and all that is cosmetic. And I think what Marvel Rivals is doing that's such a good idea is every character that they release will be free to play, available on day one. So it's like you can play and enjoy the game without ever spending a penny on it. And similar to Fortnite, if you want to buy skins, if you want to buy these cosmetic items, you can. But there's no obligation to do so. So it's I think it's a great model for people that don't have a lot of money. They can play for hours and hours of free entertainment. So
Yeah,
I think that's good.
I mean, Street Fighter even has you buying characters. You don't get every character in the new Street Fighters with the purchase. You know what I mean? So
Right.
there's a lot of predatory
But what
monetization with rosters. So, and that's a game you
yeah,
pay
but
for.
what do you think is better? A $70 game with no microtransactions or a $0 game with my optional cosmetic microtransactions?
It depends.
You
It's
know what I
kind
mean?
of apples and oranges, I'd say.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess
you
so.
know, but I think they're doing good with this model. But um, I think we should just jump into it. It's right there. We're right at the border of the Galactica's multiverse or whatever. I don't know what else to say up top. It's hard because I want to dive into it. So I think we're just going
Let's
to do
jump
that
into
first.
it.
Let's queue up. All right, we're going to queue into main episode queue. We'll catch you right after this.
We're back. Here at Normies Like Us, like Mike said, we were queuing up. We've just got a quick match going here. We're going to do some Conquest, some King of the Hill, some Escort, as we're talking Marvel Rivals. The new video game sensation, it's a hero shooter. You get to pick different people and play as them. We will definitely are going to talk who our heroes are, who our players
Yeah.
are, all that good stuff. But let's quickly just go through what's the flow of a match of a game, sort of like.
Right. Well, I wanted to say,
Yeah.
like, going into this, like, I wasn't that experienced with hero shooters in general, but I am, I do like a good competitive shooter. Your Halos, your Call of Duties. I like, going against another team. It's skill versus skill. You got to shoot the enemy team, right? And this is similar, except that every character has their own play style. And I think this is one thing I like about it so much is that the uniqueness of every character. And there's really, the way the game is balanced right now, almost every character is like viable in a competitive setting. Um, and they all just have unique play styles that you kind of have to learn. Some of them are easier, some of them are harder. You have melee characters, you have ranged, and of course you have the roles, which we can explain, of like tank, DPS, support, right?
Yeah, they call them some. They have Vanguard is their tank. What is the DPS?
Vanguard,
Duelist is the
strategist, and
DPS, and
duelist.
Technician?
Yes,
A
but they're
duelist.
essentially yes. You have your tanks, your big boys that take a lot of damage, and kind of control the space on the map. You have your DPS, damage per second. Those are your damage dealers, of course, and then you have support, which are your healers. They keep the rest of the team alive as well as doing other things, and they still have some offensive capabilities as well.
Yeah, I mean, we call them healers for shorthand because that's the video game. Like everyone's decided we're not using their terms. It seems like in the community, no one says Vanguard
Oh,
or Duelist or
It's too confusing.
they
not a
say healer,
chance.
DPS, and tank. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But the technicians do have a little bit more versatility. There is more supportive option than you're not just healing. You are contributing to fights and stuff, and you have interesting
Yes.
abilities. So it's not like you're just putting band-aids on people. It can be a lot of fun playing the technicians in this game.
No,
For
that's what
sure,
I like
and-
about it so much.
I agree, and Mike, you're saying it's a video game thing. I'll just point out it's a role playing game thing. Obviously, the earliest
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons strategies ever have been: we're a team. What role do you fulfill on that team? And I just find
Yes.
that very satisfying to be like, hello guys, I'm doing the thing that we all agreed I'm going to do for this little mission. And you guys are like,
Right.
good, and we're doing it too. And it's
And it's a
just
very
fun
I'm doing my
team.
part.
It's a
Yeah.
very team-based
I'm-
game. If your team,
Yeah.
if you're not having good teamwork, you're not going to win the game, especially in
No.
competitive. And so to compare it to something like Halo, where you're all have the same abilities, you're shooting the gun, you got to keep track of your healing and stuff yourself. There's all kinds of different roles within the team. By the way, I forgot to mention this up top. In terms of hero shooters, I don't have a lot of experience with Overwatch, but I did play another hero shooter back in the day. Maybe one of the original hero shooters, I would say, Team Fortress 2. Have you ever
Oh,
played that
wow.
game?
That's
I've
Team
not played,
Fortress
but I'm
2.
aware.
fascinating point. I did have the orange box, dog. I
Yeah.
absolutely played Team Fortress 2.
I actually played a lot of Team Fortress 2, and that's in that game. Basically, you had 9 different roles. You had one character that was like the healer. You had different damage dealers and stuff. So I think a lot of hero shooters today are sort of inspired by that game.
I would say.
True. And let's say there's 33 characters in this. Well, 35 at this point of recording. We just got 2 more.
Wow.
We're gonna get
Yeah.
2 more in a couple weeks too. So really, really big roster. A lot of choices.
And that's the benefit of the Marvel IP is that you have so many. They're rife with characters that you could add, and we've already added Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman. They're going to be adding new characters over time, and it's like there's an inexhaustible list of Marvel characters they could adapt for this
And
game.
Don't need your art team to make something up. Like we just have
Yeah.
infinite characters. Yeah.
God, and the art direction is so fire. They look so great. We'll talk about all this,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
they all play so different, in my opinion, Jacob. I don't think
Yes.
there's really any overlapping. It seems like there's some visuals now with blonde women that heal you. Yes, there
Yeah.
are these like
Right.
memes.
Some
that
of the
arise,
supports
but
have similar
yes.
play styles, but there's only so many ways you can heal your team,
Yes.
right?
But and to your guys' point of it just the IP allows them to pluck so many people. You get this idea that it's going to be incredibly imaginative and creative because that's what it's been so far. And it has people like you guys who, again, we do a podcast where we talk about Marvel a lot. Again, these are very good episodes for us usually because it's very popular now. But you guys aren't saying things like, oh, a Shang-Chi's incoming, or watch out for Jeff the Land Shark, or I'm going to play Magic or something like that. It just gets us all talking about these characters.
And I have been on the record as like oftentimes lately begrudgingly discussing Marvel because I'm
Yes.
so burnt out on the IP, and now
Yeah.
like I couldn't be more in. It's just because of this game, but I'm learning about characters that I didn't know
Right.
anything about, and it's like, dang it, Marvel, you got me again.
I mean, again, would it be better if it was DC rivals? Yes, but it's pretty good.
You're on an island.
Line. People are so desperate for. Well, I just feel like if we had our own version, it would be like this.
It's
Yeah,
the
well, just
MCU
imagine
all
you
over
had
again.
Superman as a tank.
Yeah.
Batman would
Wish we
play
had
like
good
Moon
versions.
Knight.
It's not gonna happen.
It
But
wouldn't
Marvel's
do as
fine.
commercially. I think just the Marvel brand with its cultural significance right now, it's the better choice. It would definitely defeat a DC one as much as you would like it.
I
the
disagree,
market.
but that's okay. But I mean, Marvel does have
Well,
some things
that's
going
fine.
for it. They have the X-Men, they have Spider-Man, they have these
I
characters
love
that
those
everybody
guys.
knows. DC's got a lot of characters too, but yeah, I mean that's the benefit. Yeah, this game is that all the characters, like you said, play so uniquely, even within the roles. So you have like tanks, right? So you're like, I'm going to play a tank. We have frontline tanks like Doctor Strange or Magneto. You have diving tanks like Venom and Thor that are their job is to get to the back line and try to kill
Mhm.
the healers. And then you even have like tanks like Penny Parker and
Like
Groot that are
off-tanks.
more
Space.
and like area denial, and they can set up using the environment and stuff. And the playstyles are so varied. I mean, Groot, he builds his walls. He can do so much. Spider-Man swinging around, being Spider-Man. Like, there's a lot of
Well,
skill expression, as they say,
let's
with
go
some of these
back because
characters.
I think tackling it by roles is kind of a really good idea, Jacob. So let's stick on tank real quick. And what is a tank you guys like, or what is your relationship to the role of the tank?
Well, should we all go and say like who's our main, like what's our role right now? Because we can start with Mike.
Better idea. Yeah,
I guess
please.
that works. I guess off of tank, yeah, I have been I have the most time on Penny Parker, famously created by My Chemical Romance singer Gerard Way.
That's right. That's right. The Umbrella
Perfect
Academy.
character for you.
That's right. So I played a lot of Cloak and Dagger too. That's my strategist. But as for tank, yeah, I play mostly Penny. I'm learning Groot, so I do like kind of the tricky area denial style of play as opposed to like diving the back line with a Venom. And that's just something
Yeah.
that I fell into. It's just, oh, it turns out there is something for me in the tank class. Like I just kind of tried
And
some
Penny
characters and
Parker,
it just suited me.
yeah, Penny Parker famously sort of made more famous by the Spider-Verse movies,
Yep.
appearing in those, kind of in the general consciousness now. But
Mm-hmm.
she, of course, she's from the future. She has a spider mech, basically, where she, and like you said, she's doing area denial. She's setting up her little nests. She's setting up her mines.
Area denial.
Uh,
I'm loving
yeah.
this
Yeah,
talk,
the little
guys. I'm
webbies, the
truly
mines will
getting
track you
hard
down.
hearing you guys say this.
No, and you can shoot. So you got the webs in the nest, and the mines travel on the web. And then if you shoot extra webs on the ground, you can create like a highway to make them travel even farther. So you can like expand the domain of your area
Right.
denial by
Wow.
placing webs. So it's very tricky and fun. So again, it's not in their face beating them up, but it's like a unique
You got
play
to
style
learn
that I
your
find
role.
fun. Yeah.
And what's so great is, like I said, each character, there's a skill level required for some of these characters where you can sort of try it at first and bumble your way through, but as you learn more and more how to use that specific character and learn different tricks with that character, you're getting better and better. And there's just a lot of the skill ceiling is very high, but the floor is pretty low where you can jump into most characters right away and you might be, not great, but as you get better, you'll be like, oh, there's a lot of depth to this character.
I think every character on the roster, there's at least one representative of them in the top 500 in the
Yeah.
world. So it's like, even if it's not meta, like there's people making it work at the highest level of comp. So it really, doesn't
Right.
matter.
What's been fascinating to me is to watch this talk of like what characters matter. There's tons of YouTube videos, tier lists of all the characters. What's
It's a
amazing
cottage
is when,
industry at this point. Yeah.
Of
yeah,
course.
and I'm sure that existed with Overwatch as well.
Hmm.
But with this game, what's been fascinating to me is like all the characters that were considered low tier when this game came out have been reevaluated, like Wolverine, Storm, Namor, Hulk.
Hmm.
These were all considered bad characters when the game first launched. There's been some balancing patches, buffs and nerfs and things like that. But a lot of these characters like Storm are considered one of the best characters now. Namor, one of the best
Hmm.
characters. So
You
it's crazy
couldn't
how the
get
tiers
people to
change.
play Storm, Jacob, and now
Yeah.
the meme on the subreddit is your team's not going to win if I don't see you placing a Storm out there. And it's like,
Exactly.
Right. And there's been buffs. And the other thing I want to talk about too, and I don't want to jump ahead, but the team up abilities, the synergies, which is something
That is a
Overwatch didn't
unique
have.
thing along with the roles. I
Yeah.
think it's important to mention.
totally
There's certain
brilliant.
characters that synergize with others to get buffs or special abilities.
It
That's
fits the
unique.
Marvel IP so well because you have like one of the best ones right now in like competitive is Hulk and Iron Man. And if you have a Hulk and an Iron Man, the Hulk charges Iron Man's plasma beam and makes it much stronger. So it gives you an
Oh, with the
advantage.
gamma.
And people are just ripping with Iron Man now. And you have like,
Two
Venom
characters we don't
and
really play.
Spider-Man.
That's interesting. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, two more characters we don't really play. Interesting.
Right. But there's so many, Thor and Storm, and you can power up Storms with his Thor force and everything. So there's a ton
Yep.
of those, and those really change the dynamic of the game because if you pick a team composition with those hero team up abilities, it gives you a real advantage in the game.
Well, like, yeah, and that's the point where the team ups really matter at competitive because, like, even if, let's say, Black Panther and Cloak and Dagger, for example, Black Panther could turn invisible, Cloak and Dagger gets 15% healing boost. Kind of one of the worst ones on paper, but 15% more healing flat will make a big difference. So even
Yeah.
if it's just a
Absolutely.
stat boost and not an ability, it really makes Rocket Raccoon and Bucky and
Rocket,
Punisher.
that's
a
another one.
crazy
Rocket, Punisher, and Winter Soldier. Rocket gives them an ammo boost and a rate of fire boost that
damage
really
boost. Yeah.
turns Punisher into a complete shredding machine. And
Yeah.
like
So
Iron
that's a
Man, he goes
unique
from
thing.
yeah,
I'm
in
saying
these
it's not
tier
in other
lists, they'll even
games.
say like Iron Man is normally A tier, but if he's with a Hulk, he becomes S tier because he
Oh
gets more
yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
tanks. To go back to that,
Yeah.
well, I'll say I found another role within this game that really, once I figured out what my role is, I got really addicted and hooked to this game. I've been playing it for hours almost every day.
Right.
But for tank, sometimes I'm not a main tank player, but I'll flex to tank if needed in a competitive game. And so I've been learning Doctor Strange, my favorite tank.
Wow.
He's got his portals.
Yeah, he's got portals. I don't fuck with the portals too much. They're a little it seems like every time a Doctor Strange makes a portal in a game, it never works out how I think it's going to. But he holds up a big shield, so he's a very frontline guy.
It's
He
like a
stands in
shield
front
tank,
of the team,
yeah.
holds up his big shield, and he can do damage. He can hit his Eye of Agamotto ultimate ability, where he freezes you for a certain amount of time. He kicks the soul out of your body, just like in the Doctor Strange movies and
That's right.
everything, right?
So yeah, so him and Magneto are kind of, I guess we have the area denial with Groot and Penny. Then you have Magneto and Strange as basically shield tanks. They're like soaking
Yes.
damage as opposed to putting out a ton. So that's kind of their
Exactly.
role.
And you have like Hulk and Venom and Thor and Captain America are more diving tanks where they'll try to run at you and
Frontline.
just fuck you up. I messed around with Venom a little bit. He's fun to play as well.
Yep.
And I get to make the
And
Venom
Colin,
voice and go, Eddie, we must destroy the Jeff the
Hey.
Shark.
That's right. That's right. And Colin, you were playing some tank too. You're more.
Yeah. You guys just brought him up. I was shocked to hear you say, Mike, that there's fucking 30 characters in this, but
Yeah.
somehow again, you don't think you're gonna line up to the one that you're like, well, that's my favorite. Somehow I ended up with Captain America, who is a divey tank, as you guys
Kind of
just
a
explained.
brawler,
And
yep.
That's
yeah,
right.
it's just fun.
Somewhat considered a lower tier tank, like a
Yeah.
B tier. But again, with this game, I've seen almost every character. I've seen players that are absolutely dominating with that character, and I've seen players that absolutely suck with that character. And that includes
Yeah.
low tier character. I've seen teams carry. I've seen players carry with
Yeah.
low tier characters like Black Widow, even, and just
Oh,
like
yeah.
shredding people.
Mm-hmm. No, and
Yeah.
I think Captain America has the synergy with Storm and Thor as well, where he gets
That's
powered
right.
up too. So like he can.
It's
That's
a
pretty
little
strong
electric
comp.
attack.
Mm-hmm.
Just very
Yeah.
nice. He's gotten some more damage after this respec
He's
that
got more
they did.
survivability too, right?
It's got a little more life now, but he's the fastest tank, so you're getting sort of that. And one of the fastest
He
characters
runs
in
at
general.
you. He's punching the shit
Acrobatic.
out of the healers.
Bunch of ground and pound, so he's got some sort of like, if he's up top dropping to sort of area control, but in the way that I love how this game balances, horrible air support. He cannot take out anybody who's firing down at you like a Storm
Right.
or an Iron Man.
And a lot of
He's a
characters are
melee.
like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the Captain America Thor tank combo is great because they're just running at you constantly. Thor's bashing you. And the other thing is Captain America, he's very hard to kill because he's got a shield. He regenerates health through some of his abilities. So he's just like a pain in the ass to kill. And if you see him running at your back line, you're just like, get this guy out of here,
He's
man.
basically got 2 HPs. That's like incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty
And
wild.
Venom is sort of like that, where he can regenerate health and things like that. So there's just levels to all these characters where they have so much depth to them. I love it.
And then none of them feel similar. Like the shield, like Magneto and Strange don't play similarly. Even if they are filling a similar role, their play style is completely different.
Hulk is a fascinating character because you start as Bruce Banner, a normal guy with a gun who can't do that much, and then you Hulk out, you turn into Hulk, and you can do a lot of damage as a tank. So he almost has he has to be a DPS sometimes when he gets de-hulked. But when you kill a Hulk, he doesn't die right away. He turns back into Bruce Banner. You got to try to kill him, or he can run away and try to get regenerated, and then he can turn back into Hulk.
I wish I remembered. Yeah, I wish I remember the name of the YouTuber, but there's a guy I've seen who's just a Bruce Banner main. He never turns into the Hulk, and he just only plays there.
Likes the little gun. Pew, 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 pew.
That's like I've seen. We'll talk about supports in a minute, but did you guys see there's a Rocket player who leveled to Grandmaster by doing 0 damage
I did
ever.
see that, yeah.
He does no damage. He only heals, and he leveled to Grandmaster doing that.
That's incredible.
That's pretty wild. Well, I guess the hardest one to talk about is probably going to be duelist DPS I think we're good on general tanks, but this is the largest category. There's like 20 or 17. There's the most number of duelist DPS in this game than any other, but your damage dealers, they're going to be doing the most chunky.
Again, there's so many ways to play this. You have the ranged characters. You have characters that like to get up in your face like Black Panther or Iron Fist. You have Spider-Man swinging around. You have Iron Man can be a pain in the ass because he's flying in the sky. You got to remember to look up and try to shoot him. And and you got like Hawkeye. A lot of these characters, they do have they are certainly inspired by certain Overwatch characters, right?
Oh
So
boy.
Hawkeye is
Black
very much
Widowmaker.
like the Genji. Yeah.
Yeah.
Black Widow is Widowmaker. But they have their own nuances too. So they're not just a one-to-one ripoff, right?
Yeah, but they would be like kind of, well, role wise maybe. But yeah, you have your snipers, you have your divers, you have brawlers, you have kind of people to counter, like flanking. Like Namor is kind of a counter,
Yeah.
you know. So
Namor
there's
is
a lot
great
Yeah.
at killing characters that are trying to flank and kill your supports.
He's a little bit of area denial too with his turrets. So like
Yeah,
there's a
he's
lot
got
of
turrets.
expression of play. Like Magic has a giant sword, and there's a whole lot of options. So
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, Colin, because you were playing with Magic early on, right? Do you want to maybe
It,
touch on that?
my quest for the DPS role is really exploration. I've dabbled with Magic, and I think that's maybe who I'm going to end up maining, quote unquote. This is not
Mm-hmm.
really the role I run to. You guys were just saying the Overwatch comparisons. The thing about Overwatch that, again, I just kind of want to point out in the subtle differences here is the meme in Overwatch became, hey, can you slow down running to the DPS role and let like anybody else fucking,
Mm-hmm.
play that instead of a tank or a healer,
Yeah.
because
Well,
those
that's the
seem like the
problem.
most fun characters. But the thing about Overwatch is you'd say that like don't run to those because once those people clicked in, if the 6 heroes, once 4 of those DPS were picked, it would not allow you to look at those characters anymore in Overwatch. You would have to choose just from the pool of tanks or heroes because that
Mm-hmm.
game limited your capacity for your arrangement of team ups. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
this game does not. The versatility is there. You can do
Well,
6 DPS, you can do 6 tanks.
yeah. The
Role
general
queuing, right?
normal team comp is like two of each. If you're a 6-player team, you have 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 supports. Overwatch eventually added a role queue, which is a
Yeah.
thing where you had to queue as a specific role to alleviate some of these problems where people are always picking DPS. So you could queue as a support and get games much faster because less people were, going for those roles. And that's somewhat of a problem in Marvel Rivals, but I don't think, like they said, they have no plans to add a role queue. They don't think it's necessary. And sometimes you can go, 3 healers, which is like sort of the high level meta right now in high level competitive play, or you can go, so you can go 3 healers, 1 DPS, 2 tanks, or 1 tank, two DPS, or 3 DPS. So there's different
Mm-hmm.
variations on the
There's
normal,
choice.
yeah,
And I appreciate
composition.
that. Like we do have a problem of, especially in quick play, like everybody wanting to play DPS. It's a little bit of the same thing, but I would rather not have role queue because then you get
Yeah.
funny videos of like the 6 healer team destroying, and it's like okay, like that's fun,
Yeah,
and that is an option. So
right. I played a game where everyone switched to tank except me, and I was Jeff the Shark. I was just healing 5 tanks and keeping
five
them
tanks,
alive, and
one
we won
shark.
that
Oh,
game. Yeah.
crazy.
In quick play, I don't really care. Like anything goes in quick play. In
Yeah.
competitive, I do kind of groan when if I have more than 2 players going DPS right away. Like if I have 3 characters insta locking DPS, and then it's like, can one of you switch to tank kind of thing? But generally, it works out, and people do go for the other roles as well.
So true though.
Well, I basically landed on maining tank and healer because there was a surplus of DPS, and I haven't really put any time in learning a DPS because we're never in need of one, but we're always in need of a tank or a healer. So I just kind of picked those
Yeah,
2 roles because there's no room for me in DPS. There's too damn
that,
many.
that's interesting, Mike. I feel like we all kind of go that way. Shout out to former host of this podcast, Joe, who does a Moon Knight DPS. Shout out to our friend Austin, who does
Mm-hmm.
a million awesome roles. He can
Good
do
Yeah.
like
Hawkeye,
any
good
DPS
Psylocke.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Jacob, just to throw it to you real quick, you mained Punisher for a while. That was a
Yeah,
strong DPS.
when the game first out, came out. I gravitated towards Punisher as a DPS, and I still like playing him. But he does have some limitations that as I started to understand the game and get better at it, I understand why he's not used in higher levels of play as much because he does have some weaknesses. But he has a lot of fun. He's just putting out a lot of damage with his guns, and that's a lot of fun. His ultimate is super strong, where he's just shredding the other team. And
Well,
coming
he's
from games
easy.
like
Yes,
Halo and
right.
Call of Duty, for me, it's like, yeah, I'll go with the guy with a gun who shoots other people. That seems easy enough to figure out.
Yeah.
So he was sort of my first main, and then I was also playing Jeff the Shark as my healer main. But if I can talk about sort of the epiphany I had where I realized I found my role in that I am a support main,
Mm-hmm.
and I started playing Luna Snow, my favorite Marvel character, who I of
Yep.
course have known about for years.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm Luna Snow, the K-pop idol, and I love it. Her ultimate is she's doing a dance off while the rest of her team fights. It's great.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe. I want to ask while we're quickly on DPS, who's the worst? It's Iron Fist, right? We all hate Iron Fist when
The
he's
worst to play
attacking us.
against.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's a menace. I hate
Iron
Iron
Fist can be
Fist.
annoying. Really, any good player with any character like can be super annoying. Black Panther. Um, Iron Fist is an interesting thing because if you've watched any videos about like tier lists and stuff like that,
Right.
Iron Fist is fascinating in that he's very good in the lower levels, where you can shred people that just don't know how to counter him. In the high levels, he's considered one of the worst characters to play as because at the high levels of play, they know exactly how to shut him down. He becomes very ineffectual. So he's
I get
very
it.
good low level, very bad high level. So it's very interesting. I mean, he's just a
Really
melee
interesting.
character that's diving on the back line and can be very annoying. But if you can shut him down, he kind of quickly becomes irrelevant.
Fair, fair, fair. I guess before we move to Jacob's epiphany of strategist, because I like that too. I just
Yeah.
want to mention I'm doing the achievements now, and I'm learning some DPS just to do the achievements. Like I do like Magic. I think I would want to learn to use her. She seems very fun. I like Namor. I like his little turrets,
Cool.
especially with the
Yeah, putting his
Luna
turrets
team
down.
up with the ice
Yeah, they have
turret.
a great team up. I've played some DPS. I like Moon Knight. I like Punisher. Like I said, I like Winter Soldier, Hela.
Oh yeah,
But I don't
Hela I
play them.
play.
Yeah, I don't play them in competitive really because what I realized is like I just don't want people to be mad at me. And if I play a DPS in competitive and then I do badly, people are going to be mad at me if I don't get
If
kills.
you
Yeah,
take the role whose entire job is getting kills, the thing that's the hardest thing to do in the game, and you don't get them, yeah,
Yeah,
I
people are
can
going to
see
be
that
mad and they're
happening,
going to
Jacob.
say
People will be
switch to
pissed.
another role. But what
yeah.
I
Stop.
found out, I play support.
L Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah,
bully you.
if you play support, you can, even if you do badly trying to get kills, as long as you keep your team alive, no one will get mad at you, and in fact,
You,
they'll love you.
I would
Hmm.
argue people are just so happy that anyone would pick support, Jacob. Rarely do you get the
Mm.
comment, trash Luna, Luna
Yeah,
trash. You know, it's like, can you
no, and
imagine being like, oh, you blew it. It's your
Yeah,
fault we lost.
in really healing, good healing or bad healing can make or break a game
Oh,
because
yeah.
if
hmm.
you can't keep your team alive, you're not going to win. So it's almost the most important role where and that's why the whole strategy is to take out the healers first, and then it's much easier to wipe the rest of the team.
Yeah,
Whereas if you're just putting a bunch of damage on the tanks and they're
and they're
constantly
constantly
getting
getting healed.
healed, you're never going to kill them.
It's a nightmare.
So good healing is really important. And
Well,
yeah, people can't get mad at me if I'm not getting kills if I'm healing people.
The
Although I still
person
try to
who
get kills.
complains is the person who it's the zero kill dive DPS who's never
oh,
nearby you, and he's
Yeah,
complaining about not being
Spider-Man
healed.
who's keeps spamming the
12.
I need heals button.
Yeah,
Yes, a 12 tally in that middle column. Deaths, the absolute worst thing you hate to see.
Right.
a
But let's
112 and zero Spider-Man bitching about heals. Yeah.
Yeah.
let's talk about this revelation. Let's talk about the roles of a healer. Let's talk about
Yes.
it, Jacob. In the past, have you ever, in a Dungeons and Dragons situation or something, done the like cleric or the white mage role?
No. I've never really gravitated towards that support healer role. I've always thought of myself as more an offensive guy. I consider myself at least an above average like shooter player like with Call of
Mm.
Duty or Halo. Like I love to try to kill as many people as possible and assert my dominance over, my fellow human beings in that
Mm-hmm.
way.
Oh,
Uh
no.
but the supports in this game are actually so fun to play, and a lot of them have their own abilities within their own offensive abilities where you can really hold your own in a fight and you can help out your team a lot. So I really just fell in love with that role, and characters like Luna Snow, who's my most played character now,
Oh,
my
wow.
main, and then I also have, with the addition of two of the Fantastic Four that were released recently, Reed Richards and Sue Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Sue Storm has quickly become, even more than Luna Snow, my favorite character. So now I have two mains, I would say. They play pretty similarly, but I love to play as the Invisible Woman. She has so many tricks in her bag that she can do. And so I've been almost exclusively playing her right now in competitive and having a great time.
Wow.
Yeah, she has some good escape ability. She has a little bit of crowd control with the push pull, so she can pull like a DPS into your team and you can fuck them up real quick or push a tank away. She has a lot of utility for
Exactly.
sure.
There's a lot of
Colin,
utility. She can turn invisible, of course, as her name may indicate.
mm-hmm. Make the whole
And I could
point
explain
invisible.
the nuances of her play style for an hour, but she's a lot
Do
of
it.
fun, and I'm getting better with her.
Colin, have you found any strategists that you are gravitating towards at all in this game?
You know what? And here's the fun thing. I also feel like Luna Snow is my main healer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which presents such an interesting problem, Jacob. It's such a fun, perfect problem to have because I feel like video games have moved so far into the solo player experience. How often or when was the last time you had a conversation of, oh, don't pick that character, that's the character I play as?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, yeah, you were the first person to really start playing as Luna Snow in our group of friends. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
stole her
You did. You still are.
from
I still
you.
play her in competitive. I love
Yeah,
her
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
I play her in competitive. And the other thing is now with Sue Storm, if we were ranking together, you could go Luna, I could go Sue Storm, and we could be a healing duo.
That's right.
And I find that a lot of people actually do like to play the healers in this game. I think it's a more popular role in general than tank, at least,
Mm-hmm.
where when people
Well,
are
I would
picking
agree.
characters. Yeah,
it's just about who you are and who you become. Because Mike, back to your evolution of you started as a cloak and dagger, you ended up at Penny the Tank.
Yeah, exactly. And I liked the healing too. Like Cloak and Dagger, I picked because, well, one, I was like, oh, they seem kind of cool. I remember the comic, but they have like a Sheik and Zelda thing going on where you can switch between them. And Cloak is a
yes,
little bit more damage based, and Dagger's the healer. And it's like, okay, I could do a little bit of damage if I wanted to. But then, you just get used to it. And I really do like throwing her bubbles down, and you can bounce the daggers around corners. And if you need to help pick a tank, you can hit the debuff with Cloak and take them out and then go back to healing. It's a lot of fun.
Mike, how am I so dumb that this entire time I have been relating it to Smash Bros? But in my mind, I was like, yeah, they're the ice climbers. When literally there's the character that changes into another character right there.
right.
That's
Yeah,
so dumb.
it's right there. Sorry, buddy. But yeah, I
And
started
in
with
the
that.
support class. Sorry, go
hmm
ahead.
No, and then because there's no need for DPS because there's too many, it was like it's either this or tank, and I still do like playing healer. It's just usually
Yeah.
there's never a tank because, like Jacob said, healer is probably the second most popular class behind DPS.
Yeah, it
But
usually goes people lock those first. One person will pick tank, and then one person will be like, "Wait, I could play a third DPS, or I could play a second tank." And sometimes they're like, "We don't need a second tank. I'll play
75% of the
Spider-Man."
time, it's another DPS.
But
Yeah.
Yeah,
here's the other thing, though, because it's almost embarrassing to play the DPS role when, Jacob, you made a quick point earlier about how many kills you still rack up as Sue Storm or Luna Snow, where it's like,
yeah,
I know both of you. Like, Mike, I know you're a killer as Cloak and Dagger, too, where it's like, when that KD spread at the end is like huge on kills, little deaths, huge on assists, you feel like the biggest gangster in the
yeah.
game.
Especially if you
It
have like
does feel sick.
30k healing, you're just like, man, I'm
30
carrying
kills,
this team
24
as the
assists,
support.
30k heals.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
That's
this is
yeah, that's like
badass.
insane.
It's pretty
yeah,
wild.
yeah. When I'm out killing the DPSs on my team, I'm like, Psh, these
Trash.
scrubs. Yeah,
Trash, Spider-Man. Trash.
That's why I ignore Spider-Man in the chat. Yeah, like,
right.
what are you doing?
And the support class in this game, it's again very varied and a lot of fun. Like characters like Cloak and Dagger, who was buffed with the season 1 patch, who became even stronger. Already a very
hmm
good offensive healer.
I can't believe you're even that's a revelation what you just
Yeah,
said to me, and I'm shocked to hear that. That's awesome.
yeah. They
Yeah.
buffed their alt so that it has four dashes instead of 3 dashes. Now it's just a pain in the ass.
Yep.
Then you have Mantis, who's another great offensive healer. Luna, like you said, Sue Storm. And then you have players that are just fun, like Loki, who can copy
Oh
anyone's
yeah.
abilities. He can make clones of himself. He can do all this trickery. You have Adam
Joe doing
Warlock,
Rocket Raccoon.
Rocket
hmm
Raccoon, who's not as good offensively, but has great healing potential. And again, with a Punisher and a Winter Soldier, that team ability becomes insane.
And
With a
he's got
Groot?
revive.
Yeah, with the
With
Groot, he can ride on Groot's back, so can Jeff the Shark.
I
Just
mean,
a lot
Revive's
of
great,
varied
like,
abilities in there.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with Loki. Make the clones, so you can triple your damage basically as long as the clones are up, and that's
Yeah.
cool. You get to steal like if you have a Luna on your team, you can just double Luna alt and fuck
Oh
up
my
the
Yeah.
enemies.
god.
Luna's ult
Um,
is considered the best in the game because it
Yeah.
essentially makes your team indestructible for 12 seconds.
so
And
you
if
get
you have a
24
Loki,
seconds of that with
yeah, you're
Loki.
getting
Yeah,
double Luna ults constantly.
You
It's really
read
strong.
today, you can go into the system configurations and change Luna's from healing to attack increase. And you can actually do like a sliding scale of what her ult buffs.
Hmm.
you
Well,
can
yeah, her
toggle
ult, she
between it, right?
has, yeah, it toggles between healing or damage buff for your team. So you can kind of go back and forth and really control the pace of the game.
That's
That'd be
dope.
I wonder if there's a meta ever going to happen where it's a Loki and a Luna, and one of them is set to damage, one is set to healing, and the whole team is just getting both
Fuck
buffs
yeah.
for 12 seconds.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty wild. But yeah, the healers are a lot of fun. I like Adam Warlock. He's like a sniper. Like he has really good damage too. So you could be like fucking people up
Adam
from range
Warlock.
with Adam Warlock. You bring your whole team back to
Yeah.
life. There's a lot of
Yeah, again,
utility.
him and Rocket have the abilities to revive because Rocket has this little machine he can put down and revive a player that
Mm-hmm.
can really change the game because the team thinks they just killed your Luna and then all of a sudden she's coming back 2 seconds later and you're like, oh shit.
Yep.
So there's just so many ways to give yourself an advantage in this game.
Yeah.
Like Adam Warlock probably maybe has weaker overall healing, but the fact that he could take a team wipe, bring everyone back to life, and you're still in it, like that's a
Yeah.
huge um, pendulum swing as far as advantage
He,
goes. So it just all depends on
yeah.
how you use it.
And again, he gets certain synergies with Guardians of the Galaxy's members like Star Lord and things like that.
He just brings
So
Mantis back to life, yeah, and Star Lord like just
yeah,
free.
Mantis is another one. And so because I'm a support main and I play almost exclusively support in competitive mode now, I've reached Lord with Luna, which is the highest proficiency
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
with a character. So I've played a lot of Luna. I'm working on leveling up Sue Storm now, the Invisible Woman. And my goal now is to just try out every support character eventually and try to get each of them to Lord over time and become the support Lord.
Oh
So
That's
my
after I
right.
get Sue Storm to Lord, I'm going to try
My Lord.
Mantis. I'm going to try Cloak and Dagger, all these guys. Jeff the Shark, I've played with some. He's considered the lowest tier healer now. His ult is annoying, but also not considered as strong as some of these defensive alts because these support alts can keep a whole team alive, like Mantis, Sue Storm, or Luna. Versus Jeff's, we should talk about Jeff's alt because it did become sort of a meme.
Yeah.
But he swallows up. He goes under the ground, swallows up a bunch of players. And you can spit them off the map, or you can just jump off the map and take them all with you.
Which that's
So
why
there's
he's kind of lower tier. Like you could get 5, 6 people, but then you also have to kill yourself, which is like then you're not healing
yeah,
your team until you
you can try
respawn.
to
So
toss them in a way that you don't die, but compared to the Luna alt, it's just not as strong of an alt for competitive play because
right.
those support alts are so helpful. Even the Cloak and Dagger alt is super strong.
And I've
Yeah.
been very anti Jeff this entire time, just as a character in the first round here. I cannot believe he's one of the earliest that they put together. It's sick to me.
When the
He
game
really
came out, I gravitated towards Jeff because I loved him so much. He's a little cute guy. He's a little
Mm-hmm.
land shark, and he can swim under the ground. He makes cute little noises. He'll do like the Jaws soundtrack when he's sneaking up on you. Just a
Mm-hmm.
lot of fun to play.
He became one of the breakout characters. I guess there's a wholesome breakout and a not so wholesome breakout. Jeff's the wholesome breakout. Squirrel Girl is the not so wholesome breakout, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Yes. Let's do a waifu tier list real quick.
Okay, yeah.
Let us
Baddies
know.
S
Number
ranking.
one.
Baddies, best baddies. Yes, Mike.
Dagger S
Yeah.
tier.
Well, that's something with the art style. They did a very stylized look for these characters, so they're not as realistic. Like they have different body proportions,
More
or some
comic-like.
some characters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think it
Yeah.
works. I think it works really well, though. I think they look great.
Oh, something's working on it.
Yeah, it's definitely working. Where's that? I keep telling you to buy the skin for Sue Storm so I can
Yeah, the
look at
Gooner
it.
skin.
Let's.
Yeah.
So just as you said that, no, we're not going to talk about gooning.
No,
But
that's
you
for
just said
Normies
purchase
After
a
Dark.
skin. And remember, that is a $10 tier. You do
That's
have to
right.
pay for Normies After Dark.
That's right.
Where we will be ranking who we goon to on this video game, 10
That's
to
right.
1.
The baddies ranking
Um,
definitive.
we just talked about purchasing skins.
Mm-hmm.
This is a microtransaction game. NetEase, this Chinese developer, who was kind of more of like the server hosts for Blizzard in the East. Like in China, they would be the ones who would have Diablo, Warhammer, StarCraft,
Mm-hmm.
all that shit, or Warcraft, whatever it's called, up on their server. A game including Overwatch, which I
Mm.
guarantee they just had access to the files and said, let's just make our own. Great,
Hmm.
good for them. But the way that this game will succeed in the future is tricking us into purchasing something. So, what will that be? Will it be exclusive characters one day? And
Mm.
what will it be to you? Do you have a skin? Will you buy a skin?
So I guess, yeah, let's look at their pay model. Now, I'll say I did buy a skin, and I'll reveal that here in a minute. But the
Wow.
monetization, it's either a lot of cosmetics, you get sprays, nameplates, all that kind of stuff. There's like animated nameplates that look neat, whatever. So it's a lot of cosmetics. And then you can either buy the battle pass, where you can get all the premium stuff by playing through it. It's like $10 for the battle pass, or you can buy individual costumes at $15 each or something around there. That's kind of the monetization system. And I did buy one. It was technically free for PlayStation. I mentioned I was playing as Penny. If you had a PS5, they were giving away this Venom skin where the robot looks like Ava Unit 1. It's like purple and green, and it's really cool. And it's a different geometry too. It's not just a reskin. Like, it has a different head and different shoulder pads. It's a completely different model. And I'm like, you know what? That's pretty sick. I like using Penny Parker. I'll buy this. So I bought that for like $15, but you have to buy $20 worth of currency. So I had some surplus, but now just through playing the free mode, I'm like 100 currency away from being able to get the battle pass for free. And if you buy
Yeah.
the battle pass, you get currency. So I think you could at least get 50% off the battle pass if you really grind it every time.
Sure.
But they did
Interesting.
get me with a skin, and now that I have that 100 away, it's like, well, I might as well just buy the battle pass. Like, that's how they're getting me, because I have
Especially
150
this
hours
season.
on this game. So
Fuck yeah, dude. Do it, dude. I'm proud
yeah.
of you.
So, and I'm pleased with it.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
think
buy skins in Fortnite, and I play it much less than this.
yeah, it's
Sure.
exactly like Fortnite. I think I love this game model. I don't think it's predatory or anything
Hmm.
like that because again, there's no obligation to buy these cosmetics. I have no interest in buying skins of characters that I never play. So I think that's sort of maybe the weakness of this model for this game. Whereas Fortnite, I have bought the battle pass in many seasons of Fortnite because I like getting whatever exclusive skins are in there and things like that. And I like working my way up to something and feeling like I'm accomplishing something within the game. Number goes up, I get
Hmm.
things, rewards.
Word.
And so I may buy the battle pass in this game, but again, the limit is if you only like to play two characters, then why am I buying a battle pass of all these other characters? If the skins look cool, I'll never use them. So that's kind of my thing right now. Um, but yeah, if there was good skins for the characters I like, I probably would buy them, and why not? Because I spent $0 on this game and I've
Mm-hmm.
played it for over 100 hours. So it's like, why not support it a little? I did that with Helldivers too, where I'm like,
Yeah.
Helldivers was like a $20 game or something, and with microtransactions. So I actually support the idea of cosmetic only microtransactions, completely optional, as long as it's not pay to win. That's why I think
Right.
the problem comes in with microtransactions with the pay to win model where you can buy better gear or something like that in a game. I don't like that.
Like a
But if it's
FIFA
cosmetic
Ultimate
only,
Team, you could just
Yeah.
buy the
yeah.
packs or what. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, Jacob,
Again, I think it
you've
works well
recently
for
been hired to play video games for Elon Musk. Is that correct?
yes, he did hire me to level up his Diablo character. Um, I
That's
saw,
fine.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I did see a meme online which is pretty funny where so right now obviously this game came out as sort of dominating the Overwatch space.
Hmm.
Another game, Path of Exile 2 came out, which is a sort of Diablo-like game and is
Yeah.
dominating the Diablo-like space right
Oh,
now.
the
So
ARPG.
Yeah,
yeah.
Blizzard's really getting wrecked right
So they're
now.
saying Blizzard, oh, two of its biggest franchises are just being totally cucked right now. So
Hmm.
Blizzard's probably panicking, but I love it. Yeah.
Good. Um, no, yeah, Elon messaged me too. He's like, "Hey, can you get Squirrel Girl to one above all rank for me?" I'm like, "A little weird, but if you
Yeah.
pay."
I have to
Um,
keep thumbs upping Mike's new account. Tesla is great.
Cybertrucks are
You even
cool.
have that many letters. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Cybertrucks rule.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think also they have free skins though. Back to like the monetization
Yes.
They
model.
do.
Like, you do get free stuff. You get some through watching Twitch or little codes.
You
Yeah.
you get some free stuff that is the base skin. If you play enough, you can get certain achievements, sprays, the stuff Mike said. But if you pay for a character, you specifically get like the poses, the specific MVP win kill screen at the end. Like when I see a character has paid for like a really cool skin and then the one of a kind winner thing comes up that says they were the best in a 12-person match that we just played, I am like, fuck, that person rules. Like Mike, you've hit your paid for MVP
Yeah.
screen where I'm like, fuck. Like,
Again, Mike,
God,
That
Mike
was
is
worth
like
it for me.
falling on us right now. Yes, it's like, God damn, dude. Yeah.
you splurged on
Yeah.
that skin, and that skin looks great. It's very Neon Genesis Evangelion inspired,
Mhm.
purple, Venom, Penny Parker, and it was worth it to you. And I think that's great, and that's one of your main characters. I'm
Yeah.
waiting for a good Luna Snow skin to drop. I know again they
Apparently will
have
never happen. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
She's really been neglected so far with the skins, but of course, like you said, Sue Storm has the that Malice skin that people are gooning over.
Mhm.
But in addition to that, I've been trying. So this season, there's at least every time you in a season when you get to gold, it seems like there's going to be a free skin as a reward for reaching
Yes.
gold rank.
Tell me, what is
Um,
this season's?
it's Invisible Woman. So
Oh.
I am trying to get to gold to get that free Invisible Woman skin. That's why I'm not buying the Malice skin. I'm not going to spend money on it, but I'm going to get
What
this
is it?
free.
It's not the Gooner skin. It's just
I
her in
want
a
you to
is
buy
it
it
like
for me.
plastic?
It's a blood shield. It's like a red and black
Oh.
colored skin, and I'm like, that's perfect for me. I want that. I like that over the base skin.
That's
And
cool.
so I've been working on ranking. I'm silver 1 now, so I'm 1 level away from gold 3, which is what you need to be to get
Wow.
the yeah, I could be better, but I'm working my way up, and it's a long season, so I'm trying to get
That's
to
like that's
the
but to put
platinum if
that
I
in
can.
listeners' context, basically what you need to do is probably like what, like 5 or 10 like games won in a row, basically. Like that's super
Well,
fucking
yeah,
hard.
you go up, you go down, you lose some, you lose rank, you win some, you get the rank back. So I've been doing a lot of like, and this is kind of competitive. It's weird where it's like I'll go on a losing streak where I'll just get dominated
But
like
you'll
5
slide.
games in a row,
Yeah.
and
And
I'll
you'll
slide
go
down to
all
silver
the way
2.
down to bronze, baby. Yeah.
But then I'll
Just
start winning again, and if you're winning more than you're losing, you're going to rank up eventually. So I've been having fun with it.
It seems to me that like when you win, this is on average, not exact numbers, but it's like you win, you maybe get around 30 to 40, and if you lose like 15 to 20. So you never lose as much in one match
Yeah.
as you would gain in a win. So like you have a little bit of buffer to get a couple losses in a row, but
Right. And they do give you some reprieves. Like you have this chromium shield that'll charge over time where if you
if you
lose too
lose
many
too much,
games,
they'll give you
it'll give you a break after
I'll
one
be
game where
like,
it's like you didn't lose
damn.
any
we're not
points.
taking
Yeah.
rank from you. Sorry that you're doing so
Yeah,
bad.
like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
blowing it. What's going on? Sit down and rethink.
But again, it's such a team oriented game. If you're solo queuing in competitive, sometimes you'll just get bad teams. You'll just get teams where
Yeah.
like the tanks don't know what the fuck they're doing. The DPSs are wandering off and getting killed. And you're like, I can't carry this team as a support, even though I can try. It's just if you don't have a good teamwork, you're not going to win. Especially at
Have,
the higher level you get, the more it matters.
have you
Here's my
done comp
biggest.
at all, Colin?
Well, that's I play competitive, but I can't play with you guys because I play PlayStation. It won't let us cross platform,
Yes.
so
That's
No
right.
cross
can't
platform in competitive,
do it.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a bummer. Because I
I
have
should say I
gravitated.
play on sorry, go ahead.
I play on a controller too, but I'm just saying. I've gravitated to like now. Quick play is just a playground. Like I don't care what happens in quick play anymore.
Just testing.
Just
Yeah.
testing. Yeah, and
It's
then
sort
I
of how I
sweat it
was
out.
with when we were playing a lot of Halo Infinite, right? And we play ranked and be like, man, we're losing. This sucks. Let's go to quick play. Don't care about the results there. It's just for messing around. But yeah,
Yeah.
when it comes to competitive, if I'm playing competitive, I will get sort of frustrated if I start losing a lot and blame it on my other teammates internally. But
Yeah,
not my fault, of course.
I find like I like playing it, but I'm always locked into Penny generally because no one else is picking tank off the rip generally. So it's like I do like to
Yeah.
go to quick play and just fuck around with some other characters because it's like as much as I like maining Penny, it's like sometimes I would like to play something else, but the team
It's
comp
gonna
doesn't
get
always allow
stale.
for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's fun. Probably play after this, but
Jacob, you've got
Definitely.
2 Funko Pops behind you. Are these characters that you hope will be introduced into the game?
Not necessarily, although this guy was already announced.
Oh, that's right.
Ultron.
Oh, that's
But
right.
yeah, these are the only pops that I have that are Marvel based. I have Ultron, which is actually both of these were yours, Colin, that you gave to me. Thank you very much. And so I have Ultron and I have Korg. Everyone's favorite Marvel characters, but yeah, I
Taika
have, like I
Waititi.
said, I have more DC characters. Of course, DC is better than Marvel. We all know
Korg,
this, but
Korg probably not coming anytime soon, considering they're about to do the thing, huh?
Oh yeah, probably not. We need another bot
yeah,
guy.
right. I mean, Korg, is he really even a big character outside of the MCU, or he's kind of popularized by the MCU with the
He's
Thor
Jeff the
movies?
Land Shark. What are you
Yeah,
talking
Yeah,
about right
it's
now?
Gwenpool's
but
pet. Yeah.
and yeah, which is interesting because Gwenpool. There's a big Marvel season with Fortnite where Gwenpool was heavily involved. That's where I first learned about Gwenpool, and now I'm learning about Jeff the Shark, Jeff the Land Shark, who's her pet apparently. And I'm just like, there's so much in Marvel that I don't understand that's going on.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oh, let me I want to touch on the monetization again because Jacob was saying like, I'm not going to buy skins for characters I don't play, and I get that.
Mm.
But also at the same time, you could just find a main vein of like a Spider-Man whale. Like anything you release for Spider-Man, that person will
yeah. Oh,
buy.
sure.
Like
People are going to
there's very
buy them.
much that gonna happen.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's sort of a weakness for me with the battle pass is like, man, these skins look great. Wolverine skin. I'm never going to play Wolverine, but he looks great. Um,
But you never know. Maybe you will. Like the Loki skin is
yeah,
super sick, and
The
like
only
maybe
in
I
quick play,
will.
really.
And again, the difference to Overwatch, where it was loot box based, which is of course gambling,
Mm-hmm.
blah 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 blah, but did give me that fucking hit that Daddy needed of opening like a pack of trading cards or something. Where when you get a super rare skin for somebody you don't even play, Jacob, that shines a light for me. Where I'm like, oh, maybe I was always secretly interested in Psylocke
Mm-hmm.
the whole time because I've
Yeah.
got
Right.
the Super Psylocke skin, of course. And it's like, well, no, you phony. You don't give a shit about them, but I do now.
Yeah,
And that's
let me
kind of where
go.
the battle
Adam and
pass
12.
comes
Yeah.
in because I call it the Fortnite model where you have a shop with skins in it that you can pay for individually. You also have a season long battle pass that you can pay once for, and you work up to getting these unlocking these different skins. So the battle pass keeps you invested and keeps you playing because you keep wanting to level up and getting new items from it. But you also have these skins in the shop that you can buy if you like the look of them. The other thing with Marvel is, of course, they have the MCU that they can draw on, the very popular MCU. So a lot of these characters will have their MCU variant skins. So you
Right.
have a Thor Love and Thunder Thor skin, or you have a MCU Spider-Man skin, and so
Mm-hmm.
people, of course, buy those. So it's really a genius sort of marketing thing to take such a great popular IP and be like, let's make this hero shooter game based on it. We'll have so many ways to make new skins and things like that.
Yeah.
And again, I'm totally fine with it as long as you're not paying to win. Like paying for cosmetics, I'm totally fine with.
Yeah, and like again, they have infinite source of inspiration. Like, oh yeah, just give us a Weapon X Wolverine. Fuck it. Like they have all the work done for them. It's like been gifted to them on a silver platter. All they had to do was not fuck up the execution, and it seems to this point, so far they are not fucking up the execution or implementation of any of these systems. The gameplay is good. Like they're really taking advantage of the opportunity that they have because I don't think NetEase is making bangers when I was looking at their website. So this is
Right. Well,
kind of
all it takes is
surprising.
one game to change the reputation of your studio. And I mean, the like you said, the presentation of this game, the character design's incredible. The dynamic maps where you have destructible maps, something Overwatch never did.
No.
Um,
Yeah.
you have again the audio visual feedback. Like when you get a kill, it feels so satisfying. When you're getting the hit markers and hitting people, like it feels satisfying. The sound effects just feel satisfying. Um,
Little
Mm-hmm.
details like we keep saying these things about I ranked up, I reached Lord. And listeners are like, what? What the fuck does that mean in this game where you just choose these like characters? Like there's no differences. Well, cosmetically, you'll earn a different little faceplate thing that'll come up when you get a kill, a double kill or whatever. It'll be different colors, it'll
Mm-hmm.
be more
yes.
elaborate. Where when I see that and I've earned it, I'm like, I'm fucking nailing this.
Yeah.
I'm doing so good. It just hits.
So they
And
have the
other people see it
KO.
on the kill cam. So when you fuck them up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they see that you're swagging. You know, it's
Yeah, the
Yes.
cool.
swaggy KO, the KO marker when you get a kill improves over time as you level up. The last level, the Lord level, you get unique avatar instead of the general avatar for that character. So when you pick them in the character selection, you can stun on people and be like, "Yep, that's right. I'm a lord. I'm a Luna Lord."
I deserve this more than you because I'm a lord. Back down,
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
cool.
exactly.
Yeah.
My one small complaint about this, I think
Yeah.
they need more unlockable. Like, give me another level where you get a unique MVP animation at the end of the game, right? Instead of, you can buy those with the skins and stuff, but I would like a like if there's a higher level than Lord, you get one of those to really prove that you're like, oh yeah, I'm the fucking best at this character.
Yeah,
I
you
think
only play that in competitive.
every lord level or whatever, they should have like the MVP screen or a skin. Like you should get something
Yeah.
more than a little icon. But that's like
The icon is
one
nice,
complaint.
the KO markers are nice, but yeah, I'd like a little more reward for playing those characters
You're
would be
begging
great.
for scraps here because
At that
they're
point.
already making so much. I mean, it's why would they ever downgrade? That's usually when a game launches, they'll give you the free taste. This game's kind of like, nah, baby, we know you're hooked. Like
That's
Yeah,
you're
but they're
fucking
gonna
paying
keep. I
for it no
mean,
matter what.
if they're
mhm.
smart, they'll keep adding things because that'll keep players invested.
Yeah.
Same thing. I mean, Fortnite again. Fortnite, not a perfect game, but they cornered the market on being a game that's just perennially people keep playing, and they're always adding new content, new ideas. Like this season, you can fight Godzilla, and he's a giant Godzilla monster on the map. And you can actually become Godzilla and become the giant monster. And they're always adding new things every season and keeping people coming back, and that's how live service games work, right? If the player base falls off, the game will die. But something like Helldivers does the same thing where they keep adding new content. So I think if NetEase is smart, they will keep, and they've said, they want to add at least one new character every month and a half to keep people
Mhm.
invested. So if they keep adding new characters, people will keep playing. And if they keep adding cosmetics.
Yeah, and that's I think part of the issue we're running into with the cosmetics. Like Jacob was saying, oh, they don't have them for characters I don't play, but it's like
They
we
will
have
eventually.
35
Yeah.
characters. We can't put something for every character in every season. Like they just can't. So like you
Right.
might have to wait a little while, but they'll eventually I think get to everybody
Yeah.
one way or another.
And again, there's so many characters to choose from, so many ways to play this game. If you get bored of one play style, you can try to learn a new character. I've messed around with Moon Knight. That's a lot of fun. And yeah, it's just this game definitely has me hooked. I wasn't hooked right away where like Mike and Joe were playing
Mhm.
it a lot. I was playing it, but not totally hooked yet. Once I'm like, I'm a support main. I just got super hooked. I'm playing competitive all the time.
Mhm.
I'm healing people. It's a great time. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we need more crossplay. But
Please.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
that
unfortunately,
is
yeah,
pushing
with
it.
PlayStation can't crossplay in competitive. I think that's due to actually trying to save PlayStation players from having to play with PC players where
Yeah,
there's certain
yeah.
ways to cheat. Uh,
Mm,
so that's, and the other
keyboard
thing is, like I
mouse.
said, yeah, I play with controller. You play with controller, Mike.
Mhm.
And
Generally, that's seen as
real
sort of a
quick,
noob. Yeah.
well, it did not launch on Xbox or Nintendo. Is it just on the
No, it's on
two?
Xbox.
Oh, it is on Xbox. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I don't think it's on Nintendo, but yeah, it's on because they'll have the
I don't think the
Xbox or
Switch could
PlayStation
handle it,
icon.
but
Switch 2, baby.
maybe Switch
Yeah,
2.
that's right.
But yeah, it's on Xbox, PC, PlayStation. But if you're playing on PC, all the high level players, they're playing mouse and keyboard. And maybe that's something I'll learn
I'd
eventually for
be
better
very
accuracy.
curious
Well,
what
here's
you
the
guys
Yeah.
thing.
end up doing.
Cloak and Dagger, you don't have to aim. Like there's some characters where there is really
Yeah.
no
There's certain
difference between mouse
characters,
and keyboard,
Yeah.
right?
Scarlet Witch, there's certain characters you don't have to aim. I call those the scrub characters for people who can't
Uh-huh.
aim.
Okay.
And I look down my nose at them.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But again, there's a character for every play style. So no matter how you want to play the game, there's
Sure.
probably a character that you'll sort of fall in love with. And that's what happened with me and Luna Snow. And then Sue Storm, who I love so
I'm
much.
I'm learning there's room in my heart for more than one lover at this point. Like as I'm
Wow.
trying other
Yeah.
characters, it's like, oh, this is actually also very fun and different. So,
But yeah, I only play as the baddies
right.
for sure.
Fair. It's a
No, there's a lot of
policy.
a lot of the support characters are baddies. So
Yep.
what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Turns
Not
out.
play them? All right. Well, yeah. I mean, NetEase, they're doing a great job. It's surprising, and again, it's just all they have to do is not fuck it up, and so far they're doing great. So I'm looking
I
forward
think
to
they're
what
doing
comes
great. They're
down the
holding the
line.
attention of their audience. It's really the game of the year so far to start out 2025. I know it just started, but it's really, at least from what I've seen, dominating the conversation in terms of games right now. There's not been a lot of other games contesting it recently.
Yeah, I think they're fucking up a little in the aesthetic category in that outside of this podcast, where over the holidays we're of course talking Nosferatu, why
Mm.
would you use the new year to go so heavy into like vampires and mythological and then mix that with Fantastic Four, who are a science-based team?
I think
Oh
they have a
yeah.
plan because yeah, they're introducing this Dracula as the main villain of this season or whatever. I think they have a plan where they say, well, where's Blade? Blade you think would be perfect. I think they have, similar to Fortnite, they have sort of narratives that go along with their seasons that you can pay attention to or not. But I think they're going to release Blade at some point, and that's going to be a big like what the fuck thing where people are like, oh, Blade, he's so cool.
That'd be
Um,
cool.
yeah.
It's
So I don't know
weird. It's
why
just
they
weird
went Fantastic
timing to do it in
Four.
the middle of
Yeah,
winter. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
We're
I think
closer to a lunar snow New Year pun than
Yes.
we are
yeah.
like anything else.
And they
And they did
have,
release some lunar New Year
yep,
skins, right? Squirrel Girl,
Lunar Moon Night.
Doctor Strange, and
Moon
yeah,
Knight, not Luna Snow.
no,
No, not
no,
Psylocke. Um, but it's all right.
not Iron Fist. But
Uh,
again, and then they have again so much to draw on from the comics, from the IP, where you could have a Carnage skin for Venom or something like that, or maybe they want to release Carnage as his own character. Because they already
Right.
said like Sam Wilson Captain America is one they have planned that'll be an
yeah.
entirely different character because he plays completely different. I assume he'll have wings and
Well,
fly.
but surely they'll do a movie tie into Harrison Ford and do a Red Hulk.
A
But
Red
like,
Hulk would be
Yeah,
what
they're
great.
gonna
Yeah.
sell
he'll
that.
turn into little Bruce Banner with the gun? Like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he turns into Harrison Ford as the president.
Yeah, yeah. Does
Uh,
he change his hair?
Get
Oh my
off my
gosh.
Hulk.
get off my plane. Get off my spider robot.
Get off my Falcon.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, the MCU tie-ins are great. I mean, you have so many Guardians of the Galaxy's character. They have their Guardian skin, so you can pick Star-Lord and look like
Sure.
Chris Pratt if you want to.
Who wouldn't want that?
Who wouldn't want to? Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. Well, maybe that's a good time to segue over to potentially final thoughts, but also final speculation. Maybe we could talk about who we think is coming, who we'd like to see, and then we'll, yeah, kind of wrap it up after that. All right.
Let's do it.
It's time to put on a show.
It's gonna get sticky.
We're back here on Normies Like Us, the slow moving Wakandan spaceship has almost entered port, which means our match is almost done as
Mm-hmm.
we're wrapping up talking Marvel Rivals here, the freemium premium hero shooter that we've fallen in love with. We don't talk a lot of video games on this podcast because it's obviously very hard for us to find one that we all play concurrently
Yeah, we're
outside
all
of like
playing different
what.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
typically it's easier for us to go, hey, here's your assignment for this week. Watch a movie. And sometimes if it's over 2 hours, I'm like, I can't. Like, there's just like
Yeah.
not a way that I'll be able to do that. But I've certainly found at least 6 hours a week. I know those are rookie numbers to you guys, but to put into a game I'm really enjoying.
I did play over 6 hours in a day the other day, so that was a great day.
It was a great day.
Yeah, it's a problem. No, I love this game.
The gameplay loop, it's so addicting. I mean, once you just want one more game after you win a game, So
No, and this is not like an okay game being carried by Marvel. Like the wireframe of it is good. Like Jacob was saying, the feedback for kill confirms, the audio visual presentation, the clear like sight line, like the way the characters are
yeah,
designed. Yeah, they're sweet, but they also like are getting across information clearly and everything. So it's really
I
good
would
visual
say,
language and audio language.
yeah. If anything, it's the opposite. It's the gameplay is carrying the Marvel IP for me because I really don't. I mean, it's nice to have the
Wow.
Marvel IP, but
I
it's the
wish it was
gameplay that
DC.
keeps me coming back. I mean, yeah, it would be better if it was DC. We all know that,
It'd be
but
better if it was
uh,
Overwatch 3. I mean, that's
Oh,
what
jeez.
you're begging for.
yeah, and maybe if I gave Overwatch more of a chance, I would have got into it back in the day. But to me, the aesthetics look better in this game. The movement and the level of uniqueness to each character. There's just so much to dive into there. And I think it must be good for the MCU too to renew interest in the MCU. Like this game's going to be huge for them. So Kevin Feige's like, yes, play
Thank
that
God.
game.
We need to get Jeff in the Young Avengers ASAP.
Oh,
That's one thing
yeah.
about this too, though. We're getting all these skins and everything, and it's third person, so you get to see how cool you look while you're playing, as opposed to a first-person shooter where it's like you only get to see it in windscreens or whatever.
That's very true.
You
And
know,
yeah, it makes the skins better.
yeah.
For me, I want to talk about quickly the memes I've seen with this game where there's a very active community of people online. I know because of like, if I go to YouTube or Twitter, my feed is just dominated by Marvel Rivals now because the algorithm is listening to me at all times. But I don't know if you have seen some of these funny memes, but there's some that I love where it's like Iron Man, the thing with him is like clip that Jarvis.
Oh yeah.
And then it cuts to a picture of Tony Stark smirking like in the suit that's become
Like
his
the
thing.
POV.
And then Wolverine has like this Maroon 5 song because he's like woo, and then he starts like attacking people. It's really funny stuff. There's some great like video memes and stuff out there of just people doing funny things. And again, because you can use MCU actors and stuff like that as sort of a shorthand for that character, there's so many. Like I saw a clip of Tom Hiddleston on the Graham Norton show doing this like crazy dance, and there's the comment like when Loki copies Luna Snow's alt,
Oh
and
my
because it's Tom
gosh.
Hiddleston, it makes sense,
Right.
So
I
funny
see.
stuff. Yeah,
That's so clever. Yeah.
No, it's taken the internet by storm. Memes, character guides, tier lists. Yeah, it's going crazy right now.
there's a very healthy community online. There's a competitive scene that's very active right now. A lot of
Very actively
Overwatch players are
toxic,
being like,
competitive
"This is
scene.
my new
Yes.
game." There's a famous streamer named Shroud that you guys might have heard of, who is like, yeah, this is pretty much like I might be playing this game forever now. Like Overwatch might be like it might be the Overwatch killer. Yeah.
Well, when you see the numbers, 16,000 on Overwatch versus 400,000 playing this,
Brutal.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's pretty much done.
Again, like you
But
mentioned, a game called Concord came out this year. There was a live service hero shooter game. And that's just an example of like how to do it right versus how to do it wrong. It's like you said, that game had no players. They basically took the servers down after 6 days, refunded everyone's games, and said, "We're sorry, this
You
didn't
gotta
work."
go.
Yeah,
You can't be here anymore.
they paid Amazon to put an episode based on Concord into that secret level show,
right.
and the
And
game
Yeah.
was dead
a
before it
game that
even
doesn't
aired.
exist anymore.
It was
Yeah.
wild.
It's the
Wow.
Willow of games.
Oh no.
I don't like that.
And they spent like 6 years and like hundreds of millions of dollars in development on that game, and it was just a huge disaster. It's one of the
But
biggest
you
disasters of all
can't
time.
just turn it off after 6 days. My son was born after we decided to, start. He's 6 now, and they're like, "No, sorry,
Yeah.
it's over."
This is
That's sort of
tax
indicative
sink.
of like what's going on with the gaming industry right now. But that's a whole other story. But this game, yeah, it comes out of nowhere. It seems like, I mean, there was an open beta for a while that people were like, yeah, this game's pretty good. But once it hit the mainstream, like, yeah, it's been dominant. And I don't know how
Yeah.
long it'll last, but players keep coming back. It's player retention is very
So,
good.
what
Yeah.
will keep you coming back, Jacob? What character do you want to see added to this thing?
Well, I'll say some of the ones that are already confirmed. Obviously, the Fantastic Four. They released 2 of them so far. They're going to be releasing Human Torch and the Thing later on. Ultron will be coming. Jean Grey will be coming. Professor X.
Hell yeah.
All these characters.
Very weird choice.
Yeah, he's going to be a support.
Nice.
Hopefully in his little hover wheelchair. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
just driving
Got it.
around, I guess. Yeah.
But again, there's so many that you could add. Of course, I want to see Blade. He'll be a great melee DPS, I assume. Who else? I mean, so many more X-Men could be added. Cyclops, Gambit, Rogue. I mean, so many
Oh yeah,
possibilities.
we need Rogue original animated series skin.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yes, and Gambit, they could have a great team up. Oh man, so many possibilities.
You know he's gonna make a name for himself for real, whatever
That's
he
right.
says.
I'd
whatever-
love to play as
whatever
Gambit. I
Gambit
mean, that would be
does.
awesome. Come on. You get
Yeah, I
X-Men
know.
97 skins. Come on. Now you're talking. Like, I'm going to spend so much money on that.
Would
Who
that
am I kidding?
Cyclops be a DPS or a tank? X-Men 97 Cyclops would be a tank, I think. He was going crazy.
Really? I think his playstyle will be DPS, but I mean,
There's a way I
Colossus.
think you
That's
could do
another
it.
one
Oh,
they've
Colossus,
already
yeah.
announced. Colossus will be a tank. He'll have a team up with Magic, his sister.
Mm-hmm.
And Colin, you love Colossus. Come
I
on.
do. He's probably the one I'm most excited for. Out of the ones you just said, a lot of the times they'll make Jean Grey lean either Jean Grey or Phoenix. So
Mm.
what do you think she'll be? Will she be a healer or a tank
I
or a
think she'll be
DPS?
support, yeah, with offensive
Okay.
capabilities.
Her alt will be Phoenix Force or something, maybe.
I would imagine a lot of new characters are going to be support or tank heavy because right now there's so many more DPS characters right now. So I think they are going to be adding a lot more tanks and supports
Well, I have a
to the
hard time
cast.
figuring out who would you put in those roles out of the comic books, because a lot of times it is like, oh, Blade's got to be DPS. So like, who is like a tank who besides
Right.
Colossus, or who's a healer? What you guys think?
Colossus, Juggernaut could be a good one. The
Juggernaut,
Thing will be a
yes,
tank. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Like they've already announced Ultron's going to be a support. So maybe not one you would necessarily think of as support, but he will be a support.
Oh, Blonde
interesting.
Baddies, Emma Frost is a support.
Oh,
Emma
for
Frost.
sure. And
Or she
joining
could
the
even
gang
be a
of
tank
blonde
because she
baddies.
has
Yeah.
the
That she could
diamond
honestly
skin, which
diamond
makes her so
skin.
strong. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be interesting. But the other possibilities are the multiverse of it all and the
Mm-hmm.
timey-wimey stuff that Penny Parker's in the game. Mike, will we get a Gwen, Spider
Oh
Gwen?
yeah.
Will she be her own thing? Will we get Miles? Will
Spider
he be
Gwen
his
for sure.
own thing?
Right. We'll
Yeah,
get a
absolutely. I think
Deadpool soon.
those will be possibilities. I think Drax to finish out the Guardians. You already have Mantis, Star Lord,
Yep.
Groot, Rocket, Adam Warlock.
Gamora.
Put Drax in there as a tank. Put
Mm.
Gamora in there as a DPS makes total sense.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Give me that dog.
That
Cosmo.
dog.
I would main
Yeah.
Cosmo if
Cosmo
Cosmo was in
running
the
around with
game.
Jeff.
And
Yeah.
again, they're gonna keep introducing lesser known characters like Paste Pot Pete is one that is apparently coming.
Is Big Wheel
Uh,
in Marvel?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well,
Big
here's the
Leo,
thing.
yes.
We haven't even talked about Spider-Man villains like the Lizard or Doc Ock. Doc Ock would be so
Yeah.
sick. Like, yeah, there's an
yeah,
infinite
Are
number of
there
choices.
a lot of villains in the game? Hella,
Magneto.
Magneto.
Mm,
There's a few, yeah. I
I
mean,
could see
Venom
them
Loki.
is sort
doing
of the
next
anti-hero.
season being like the Rift Breakout, which is like the big
Yeah,
prison or the Raft, the
Oh
big
yeah,
prison that they have where they do a couple of bad guys rolling out. That'd be
right.
interesting.
yeah. Green
I
Goblin
mean,
with the glider.
yeah,
Green
Green
Goblin
Goblin
would
would be
be
sick.
really good, dude.
Again,
Mm-hmm.
Ultron is coming. I think Doctor Doom is going to be coming as a playable
Yeah,
character eventually. Uh, maybe Thanos, like he could be a tank. I don't
that would
know. I
be
mean,
cool. Thanos
yeah,
would be a cool tank, yeah.
They
His
got to give him
ult
the.
is the fucking,
he's got the Infinity
snap.
Gauntlet.
And
Oh
Yeah,
he just
man,
fucking wipes your team out.
it's basically what Scarlet Witch does.
Yeah,
I am
truly.
yeah,
inevitable. That'd be
yeah.
cool.
We didn't really talk about alts or ultimate abilities, which is a big part of this game, where you get
Mm-hmm.
a thing that's constantly leveling up, and once it gets to 100%, you can do a super powerful ability. A lot of times, it deals a huge amount of damage, or it's a very good support alt like Luna's, where you can just keep your team alive for 12 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And those really change the momentum of the game, where you can sort of coordinate those. Like if you're playing with a team and you're on comms together, you can like coordinate and all use your alt at once to like totally change the momentum of a game. And the balancing of it all, it's a work in progress, right? Because right now this game is leaning towards just complete chaos and fun over perfectly balanced meta, which I actually like because it doesn't need to be perfectly balanced. Like it's just fun the way it is right now, and they'll make little balancing changes over time to nerf certain characters. They've already done it. Like they buffed some of the weakest characters from season 0 to make them playable, and now people are loving Storm. They're loving Hulk and these different characters.
I trust them on that process, Jacob, because they've got proven results. That they're
Yeah,
not gonna that I'm not gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, they made it so Captain America does 1 damage and he's got 1 health point. I guess why did you do that?
yeah.
Right.
And some of the super strong characters from season 0 have been nerfed a little bit, like
Yeah,
Hela and Hawkeye, to
Mm-hmm.
make it more fair. But I think the rollout of this game has just been really good. Like the technical quality of it has been really strong. I haven't had too many technical issues. I've had a couple games where I got disconnected online, but overall, like compared to some of these games out and they're just so buggy and unplayable and unoptimized, this
yeah.
game is sort of miraculously plays very well. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's part of the strength, and like the support from the devs is there. Like even when we were like reporting cheaters, like I've had cheaters get booted during the game in which I reported them because they were like that quick to respond.
Good.
It's
Yeah,
pretty awesome. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, they're crushing it. I can't wait to see what's coming. Like there's literally no character that they announced that I wouldn't be like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm
I'll
like, yeah,
check
yeah.
that out.
yeah, cool. Like
And again,
keep coming.
because of the IP, you're like, oh, I know who that is.
Yeah.
And to see how they implement their abilities within their lore and their backstory into a playable character is so cool. Like like when you play Wolverine, you feel like Wolverine. When you play Spider-Man,
Yes.
you feel like you're essentially playing Spider-Man like the Spider-Man PS5 games where you're like swinging around, shooting people, but like it plays exactly how you would expect a Spider-Man to play.
The individual kits do feel like you're embodying that character or hero. That is a great job
Very
they've
much
done with
so.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Yeah, I love it.
absolutely. So just a success all around, and I hope they keep adding stuff, and I hope people keep playing because I'm having a blast right now, and I'm
Yep,
sort of in the honeymoon phase, but I think it's the
You
rollout's
know,
gone great.
the
we
baddie
uh
moon.
we come and go. We come and go on video
The moon
games.
haunts you.
The moon, there's two moons on that girl that are haunting me, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Jacob, I would say maybe you're the most flighty when it comes to video games in a complimentary way, in that you experience and try everything, but sometimes you'll be like, I played this one for 2 hours, I'm kind of done with it or whatever. I have a feeling that this will be one that sticks around for a while. Sometimes I can't guess that. Like, you guys have been playing Fortnite for years now.
Yeah. Well, Fortnite again, it's so good at keeping people coming back, and the
Yeah.
formula is already so strong that it's like a great casual game to put on whenever. We have, friends that we play with somewhat regularly with Fortnite, and I've sort of been neglecting Fortnite recently because all my time, especially all my online multiplayer time, has been with Marvel Rivals recently, where it's like hard to even find time to get on Fortnite. And I'm trying to get our friends that play Fortnite into this game, because it's been so hard. And this season of Fortnite's been a little lackluster for me, so I've sort of lost interest. Uh, so yeah, it's taken up all my time right now. I'm still playing some single player stuff for a change of pace, but I gotta say that gameplay loop is addicting.
Let me say this. Okay, I love Godzilla, and Godzilla's in Fortnite, and I could not be forced to open Fortnite while Marvel Rivals exists, even though
Wow.
Yeah,
Godzilla is there. That's how much I'm hooked on this. So
it's pretty cool though because you can actually become Godzilla, like I said, and you can become the giant monster, and you can blast people and
well,
stuff.
here's what Godzilla has fought the Avengers, so I'm assuming he'll make his way into Marvel Rivals eventually, and then I'll
Yeah,
be able to be Godzilla in there. Yeah,
see, that's the strength of Fortnite is that it's not just one IP. They have a million different IPs and they can keep adding skins. But again, the Marvel IP, there's so many possibilities that Rivals could stay relevant for a long time.
yeah. Give me Big Wheel. Give me
I
the
hope so.
Thanos chopper and a victory screen. Um,
My
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that it's balanced for fun. Those would be my final thoughts. Like, don't ever do roll queue. I think it's hilarious that if somebody was like, "We're doing 6 healers and we're going to Grandmaster," and they wanted to do that, do it. Like, that's super
Go
hilarious.
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
And again, like with any competitive scene, people will get sort of toxic at times, blame their teammates. I say, you know what? It's just a game. Let's not take it that seriously.
Yeah.
Even when I'm ranking and I want to win, I do get frustrated sometimes, but then I remember, you know what? It's just game. I don't need
it's
to
just
be
game.
angry about it or frustrated. It's just for fun, and that's
Yeah,
great.
don't be toxic, DPS, please.
Don't be
No.
toxic. Yeah.
My one wish list is I would love a couple more new levels, which I think they're going to debut as often as they do
Yeah,
characters. Sure, who cares? But I'd also love to see them take a huge swing. The game modes they've stolen, the sort of King of the Hill and then attack and then defend, basically being
convoy.
interchangeable.
Yes.
Um,
Convoy moving a slow moving object across
yeah,
the map.
that was Overwatch's literal the game loops you would pick there. I would love to see. I don't know what it would be. I don't know if they do, but if they came up with something completely original that also had 6 people versus 6 people, I would be astounded. I think that would be
Hmm.
so cool. I don't, again, I don't know what you could do.
Yeah, they have a couple other
Mm.
modes right now. They have sort of a team deathmatch mode that was in it from the
Yeah.
beginning. which isn't that great for me. They added a new mode with the new releases, the Fantastic Four. They added this Doom match, it's called, where you have it's sort of a free for all, every man for himself kind of thing. You pick a character. You're on a specific map where you're going around. It's the Sanctum Sanctorum, I believe, the Doctor Strange's house or whatever. And so you can pick a lot. You pretty much just pick DPSs, but then you just it's like Halo free for all version where it's everyone
That's
for
cool.
himself.
It's like 12 people or something like that. You versus everybody. It's a little chaotic.
Yeah,
but,
and that's fun to mess around with. They've also released some limited time. They had a Jeff Winter Celebration game mode, which was basically Splatoon with Jeff.
Splatoon game was cool. Yeah, I did.
So if you don't know, Jeff shoots out water out of his mouth that heals people. So it's like you're painting the ground, and the other team was trying to paint it their color. So basically Splatoon.
Well,
And I played a little bit of that.
Let's be
honest. Yeah, he vomits water.
Here's what I saw somebody mention, which, it's one of those Marvel Rivals has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. And it would be adding PvE that was supposed to be in Overwatch 2. Like, if they found a way to make a PvE fun and add it, that really is like a big F you to Blizzard.
I believe they have said that there's PvE stuff that they're potentially want to add.
I don't know how much PvE. I would be engaged to play that, but I just like the idea of fuck you, Blizzard.
I mean, multiplayer PvE games can be a lot of fun. Helldivers, of course, we played a lot of that.
Ultimate
and things
Alliance.
Like that. So
just put in an Ultimate Alliance mode. Oh my god, it's
just a dungeon that would crawl. Be crazy.
Yo,
but again, that's also the model for the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was very PvE. It was a multiplayer online PvE game, and it did not succeed. But I don't know if that was due to that play style or what. But
they just don't like any of the Alliance in third person. It'd be sick.
Yes, do it.
But
yeah, so much going on here, so much to talk about. But in general, we love this game. We're playing a lot of it. Yeah. It's another game where we can team up, and that's what it's all about: teaming up with your friends.
Yes, playing games with your friends is what video games used to be for. And if you're not going to let us do it on a couch anymore, let us do it this way.
Yeah, it's become online. It used to be split screen, but because we live in different parts of the country or the world, it's good, and that's why I love Fortnite and love playing with my Fortnite buddies, because it's a good way to just get on, shoot the shit about what's been going on in your life as well. This game's a little more, you're constantly on edge, calling out characters that are running up at you, trying to kill you, but it's a lot of fun.
Hard to have a conversation over.
Yeah. Oh, Cap, right there, Spider-Man, Black Panther, get Black Panther.
Go.
Yeah, maybe a quick play. Yeah, this has become the third space for our generation, is like Fortnite, like online gaming, really. It's like, we just kind of hang out with everybody.
It is.
I like that we can do thumbs up. I like that I can watch your little highlights. I like that it has a working theater mode, just little things that they got right that a lot of games don't. So, yeah.
A working theater mode, something Halo still may not have today, Halo Infinite. So
they had it in Halo 3 and never again. Yeah.
Right. So very impressive on that end. And shout out to NetEase. Shout out to China, right?
Baddies.
Wow. Yeah. Shout out to all the baddies.
Yeah.
Let us know if you've been playing. Let us know who your mains are.
Who's your main? What's your favorite role?
Of course. @Normies_like_us, where you can
Who's the baddest of them all?
Subscribe. You can watch the podcast. You can write in and say definitively who is the baddest of them all. It's Jeff. We know it's Jeff. Jeff's the ultimate baddie.
That's right. We love Jeff. And then, you know what, Normies, if you want to play with us, shout out, tell me your screen name. I'll add you. We can squad up. We can kill some.
We can do it up.
Some characters together.
Yeah. But I forgot to mention, I switched this to Japanese too, so I don't know what the hell the call outs are in English anymore for any of the ultimates. It's very weird.
Yeah.
But
that's very funny. So you've been playing on Japanese language, everyone's speaking Japanese. So you learn your own call outs. I love it. I love it.
What is spider time?
Sa spider jikandayo.
Well, it makes sense. It's sort of it's a role playing thing because you're playing Penny Parker, a Japanese character.
Right, yeah. So it
Neo
has to be in
Tokyo.
Japanese.
Yeah. Tiny little spider in a mech suit is translating all of this for Mike to enjoy.
That's right. It's not, again, it's Moi Kaida. another time, basically. So when he's
Right.
armed and dangerous, he says,
Again.
"Moikaida."
Moe
Yeah.
cut up.
And the last one, it's not maximum pulse, it's super pulse. So
Oh,
it's
I
a
like
super
that.
pulse.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Can you just one more? Can you tell us if we should fear the moon or not?
He says Suki ga something. So it's the moon is haunting you, but I don't know the verb, but I think it's
Sure.
just the moon haunts you in Japanese. But Suki
Oh.
is moon, so he's definitely calling out the moon.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Least favorite alts that to go up against? Anyone?
Probably Bucky.
Bucky.
Bucky's
He can
rough.
be very
Oh.
annoying.
Um,
Iron Man,
Star-Lord.
Magneto. Yeah,
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord and Punisher have very similar ones where they
Yep.
just can shred you.
Light you
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Tai
lot of them.
Setsuda. He doesn't say legendary. He says Tai Setsuda. Like, I'm the fucking best.
What
Yeah.
is Groot's? Does he just make a bunch of walls?
He grabs you with his he goes, I am Groot, grabs you with his vines and stuff to hold you in place. And then you can combo that like with a Moon Knight alt, which is the moon haunts you, which is very dangerous. A bunch of stuff comes down and kills you immediately.
Yeah, he kind of groups them up. But that's one final one because he says in Ore wa Gruto.
Ah.
Yeah.
Groot.
Pretty good. And then
Groot.
Ore Tachi wa Venom is what we get when, we are
Of
Venom.
course.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like
So,
that.
that's my
Venom.
notes, but yeah.
All right. We love it. We hope you love it too. Let us know again if you're playing it. And otherwise, we've been your hosts. This is Colin, the podcast shark.
Mike and Dagger.
It's time to
Against
put
the
on a
World.
show.
Sorry.
Us against the world. It's Jacob Snow
Us
coming at you,
against the
normies.
world.
Gonna dance
That's
it
right.
out.
Dance it out.
Oh,
All right,
and
Moon haunts
sorry,
you.
real quick. Do we want to tell them what's coming up next week, Jacob? What is
Yeah,
coming
next week we're
Would you
going
like
back
tell me
to
what's coming up next week?
we're going back to that planet.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
What planet
hell
I'm talking
yeah.
about?
That's
The
good.
planet of the apes.
Getting close to wrapping it up. So again, I would
Yes.
recommend listeners tune in. We've got this one more, and then whatever our bonus is going to be for this series, and then we'll
Yes.
be
If we
launching
just-
a new series for the new year.
Mhm.
That's right. We'll have to decide what our next long form series will be.
Oh.
But yeah,
James
next week we
Bond.
have War for the Planet of the Apes, and then the week after that we
Very
will
cool.
be finally doing our top 10 films of 2024.
Hell yeah.
Or our whatcha.
That's true. I've been catching up.
That's
So,
great.
yeah.
My
Looking forward
suggestion,
to
by
it.
the way, for speaking of Marvel, my suggestion for our next long form is still the X-Men movies. Our favorite movies directed by pedophiles.
No, where we've started with the BS lore, the very beginning of this podcast.
Yes.
Now it's finally come back to haunt us like the moon.
So we'll have to talk about it, but
yeah.
looking forward to going back to the ape planet next week.
Hold on, we did this whole Marvel video game episode, and Jacob didn't mention the Midnight Suns at all.
I love the Midnight Sun. Well,
Library.
some of them are already in the game. You know, Magic, of course. I first fell in love with her in Marvel's Midnight Suns.
All right,
That's
bye.
Oh man.
Still waiting for
All right.
Agatha all along to be added, but yeah.
That's in
Yeah.
her alt move, that song.
That's right.
That's right.
Down
Witch's
the Witch's Road.
Hell yeah.
They need
Let's
to add
go.
that map for Convoy, the Witch's Road.
Oh, the slowest. Yeah, you're just walking Agatha to the end of it.
It's
You're
like 5
"God,
pit stops. Yeah.
yeah, shut up, girl.
I love all that. Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
Man,
normies.
this
We'll
game's
see you
so
next
good.
week.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Moon haunt you.
Again.
Spider time.
Get
It's going to get sticky.
assemble.